The sheriff was incredibly arrogant. He stopped the town's wealthy citizens, holding a wooden stick, and demanded to check their IDs. The rich man handed over all his documents, and although everything was in order, the sheriff still didn't want to let him go. The sheriff claimed the man's taillight was broken.
What's wrong with my taillights?
They're broken.
He looked like a thug, but the situation wasn't as it seemed. A few months ago, Chris had completed his 8 years of military service and retired. He returned to the small, beautiful town, but it had changed. Children were abandoned on the streets because their mothers were drug addicts. The town's main employer, the lumber mill, had shut down. Chris had originally planned to work there, to reconnect with old memories. Chris played a game of basketball with some old friends. During the game, Chris noticed his nephew smoking weed. Just then, Jay showed up, inviting them to his casino. There was a lot going on in there. Jay arranged a special performance just for Chris. When the dancer removed her mask, it turned out to be Chris's first love. Soon Chris's friends lost a lot of money. Chris realized the dealer's dice were rigged. He exposed the dealer's trick on the spot. Just then, security arrived and a fight broke out. In the end, Chris was stunned with a taser. They ruthlessly tortured him and dumped him in the middle of nowhere. But Chris's will to survive brought him back to life. After Chris was released from the hospital, he gradually recovered. Jay came to apologize and invited Chris to join his operation. Chris refused. Chris went to the police station, where the deputy sheriff told him that after the lumber mill closed, the casino was the only source of income for the town. He suggested Chris drop the issue. It was clear that the police and Jay were in cahoots. That day, Chris's mother received a call. Chris's nephew had overdosed on drugs and barely survived. His friends said the drugs came from the casino. Chris was furious. His mother urged him to call the police, but Chris knew it wouldn't help. He went home, grabbed a shotgun, and drove to the casino. After loading the gun, Chris suddenly snapped out of it. He put the gun back in the car and picked up a wooden stick, walking into the casino. He quickly took out all the security guards. Chris focused on the mirror above him and threw the stick, smashing it. That was Jay's office.
Guess that changes our relationship a bit, huh?
Chris decided to run for sheriff, to restore order to the town. Chris was soon sworn in as sheriff, and his first act as sheriff was to fire all the corrupt officers. Then, he started with the drug addicts, using them to track down the drug dealers. And from there, he traced the source. Eventually, he discovered the lumber mill. One of the rooms had been turned into a drug lab. Eventually, Chris subdued Jay. Jay was sent to prison. The drug lab was destroyed. The casino was sealed. And the lumber mill was reopened. The town finally began to look like its old self again.